And for the first time in 13 years, a Cuban president will make a diplomatic visit to Mexico. Talks between Raul Castro and Mexico's president, Enrique, are aimed at easing strains between the two countries. CCTV's Franc Contreras previews the monumental visit.
Diplomatic and trade relations between Mexico and Cuba are warming up again. For decades, Cuba could count on a non-intervention stance from Mexico City. But in the late 1990s until 2012, bilateral relations had a less than cordial tone. Now, with Washington renewing relations with Havana, Mexico sees an opportunity. Recently, Cuban officials even thanked Mexico for its support on a range of issues, including enhancing regional trade.
We are prepared to increase economic trade and commercial relations. The presence of Mexican investors in the economic zone is very promising, as well in the special development zone of Merida, where Mexican companies have already settled in.
There's great interest by companies and Mexican industries to increase their presence here in Cuba.
One delicate issue likely to come up is the influx of undocumented Cuban migrants. Cubans who pass through Mexico on their way to the United States worry the Obama administration might end a decades-old policy granting Cuban migrants political asylum for simply stepping foot in the U.S. The government of Cuban President Raul Castro wants the United States to stop providing what it calls special treatment for Cuban migrants who have opposed the governments of Fidel and Raul Castro. One expert in diplomatic relations says nearly every Latin American nation, including Mexico, defended Cuba's demand to end the U.S. economic blockade.
Practically every nation, independent of its ideological leanings, took that stance. Latin America countries are unified against that absurd bilateral conflict. We will work with Cuba.
But it's unlikely that Mexican and Cuban diplomats will publicly discuss the U.S. economic blockade. Instead, when the presidents of Cuba and Mexico meet on Friday in Yucatan, they'll focus on less touchy themes like enhancing commerce in the fishing and tourism industries. Franc Contreras, CCTV, Mexico City.